Are you waking up super stiff in the morning where you have a hard time straightening up, or you have a hard time putting on your underwear or socks? Well, guess what? Welcome to middle age, my friends.
You call me old?
Just kidding. We all get stiff as we get older, but remember, motion is lotion, and we can mitigate that really, really easily. It just takes a little bit more effort.
Just gonna have to try.
I have patients say to me all the time, and they've been saying it for years, Dr. Rob, I'm super stiff in the morning. I need a new bed. Can you suggest a new bed? I may be sleeping wrong. Guess what? It's not what you did while you were sleeping. It's usually what you did the day before and the night before that you didn't mitigate before you jumped into bed and stiffened up. Let me show you 3 moves that I do myself every night that are non-negotiable. And I want you to start doing these 3 moves tonight and every night so you can prevent feeling super stiff in the morning, get a really good night's sleep, and wake up feeling way better. Let's go. So number 1 is a simple middle back or thoracic stretch, because most of us are spending most of the day now sitting in a flexed position with shortened hip flexors, lengthened glutes, and flexed posture. We want to reverse all 3 of those motions. So here's number 1 that I want you to start doing. It's very easy. If you have a bench at the end of your bed, use a bench. If you don't, just use your bed. All you're going to do is go back into this position, put your elbows on the bed like this, hands together, and all you're going to do is push your rear end back, drop your chest and armpits towards the ground, so you're reversing that spine from a rounded position that you've been in all day to a normal extended position. So once you get into this position, push your chest and armpits down as you push your butt back. Feel for a nice big lat stretch, a nice big middle back stretch. Hold it for 2 seconds. Come up to release the pressure. Go back down, and I want you to do that 20 times. A lot of my patients will say, well, Dr. Rob, I can't get into that position because I can't kneel because it hurts my knees. Simple. Go to your counter in your bathroom or your footboard or a piece of furniture. Put your hands like this, walk backwards, widen your stance, push your butt back. Now drop your chest and armpits down and try to get your head between your arms. That's going to accomplish the same stretch. Hold for 2 seconds, come up to ease the pressure, drop down again. Do that 20 times. That's number 1. Let me show you number 2. Now again, because most of us are sitting all day, the hip flexors basically get really shortened, and that can contribute to hip and back pain problems. So let's just do a simple couch quad stretch. I've got something for support here, so what we're gonna do is put the calves up to your bed or whatever bench you have, take a pretty long stride, put the back of your foot on whatever you're gonna stretch on, and then just drop your knee towards the ground. If you can and you're flexible enough, squeeze this glute and try to get your butt to your heel. You're going to get a monster stretch through here. I want you to stay in this position for about 30 seconds and then switch to the other side.
Yeah, right.
Now, a lot of people are going to look at me and go, Rob, there's no way I can get into that position. Well, that's cool. 10 years ago, I couldn't get into that position either. So what I want you to do is this. Go to your bed, make sure you're holding on to something stable, put your foot on your bed just like that. And this is going to be the most basic position you're going to need to get in. Once you feel like you start to get more flexibility out of your quad, you can hop back and then lean back. Once you lean back, you're going to notice that high portion of your quad starting to stretch. Once you can tolerate that, squeeze your butt cheek. Now you're shutting off the front hip flexor by turning on the quad. Hang out there for 30 seconds and you're going to notice a huge difference in hip stiffness in the morning. Let's go on to number 3. So number 3, and arguably the most important, is getting the back of the hips, deep hip rotators, posterior capsule of the hip, and the piriformis all loosened up. Now, when we're sitting all day, basically your brain says, well, hey, the butt's not working, let's shut it off. Well, you have to stimulate some input into that so your brain knows to get some blood into the area and basically get the nervous system charged up again so you can get some contraction and relaxation out of that hip. So the stretch I love to do with this, because it's super practical, is just a seated pigeon on the bed. Basically, get into about a 45-degree angle, and all you're going to do is put your tibia, which is this bone, right on your bed, just like this. Super simple. Now, the big mistake people make here is they drop their chest to their knee, just like this. Well, that is stretching my back. It's not stretching the hip. What I'm going to do is, just like a hip airplane, I'm going to raise my chest up. I'm going to turn my belly button and my sternum this way so it goes over top of my knee like this. Now I'm going to grab the bed and pull myself forward, keeping my chest up. That's going to give me a monster stretch right back here. Now, a cool caveat to this is I'm going to squeeze this glute and I'm going to get a nice deep hip flexor stretch right there. I can also add in reaching and pulling so I get a bit of a lat stretch. So go with what feels best. If you're not very flexible, start here. Squeeze your glute, feel for a stretch here. Let's hang out 30 seconds. If you want to get a little bit more flexible, reach forward, take this left hand, really stretch and reach. Now that's going to get the lat on this side, and that subsequently is associated with the glute on the opposite side through what we call the posterior oblique sling. So we're going to hang out here 30 seconds, 10 deep breaths. You can go a little longer if you'd like. What I like to do is 2 sets per side, making certain that I work out all the tightness. I even assess myself while I'm doing it, because if I stretch my right side and it really doesn't feel like much, it doesn't need to be stretched. But if I stretch my left side and it's really tight, I did something that day that made it tight, so I need to mitigate that before I go to bed so it doesn't snowball into a problem the next day that can even turn into an injury if I don't address it. So same thing, I'm going to put this knee up on the bed. I'm going to take my sternum and my belly button. I'm going to turn it towards that knee. I'm going to come forward, keeping my chest up, squeeze this glute, getting length through the hip flexor, length through the back of the hip. I'm going to take this hand and pull this way just a little bit, and you can see my lat kind of pop up there. That's getting a nice lat stretch to the opposite side posterior oblique sling. I'm going to hold that for 30 seconds or longer, and maybe even do a second set if I feel tight. So remember, the stiffness that you're feeling in the morning isn't necessarily from sleeping. It's most likely what happened the day before that you didn't fix before you went to bed. So try these 3 super practical, super important stretches so you can get the whole system loosened up, feeling better, mitigate that daily posture, so you can wake up in the morning not feeling stiff as a board, being way more functional, and most importantly, get you better, not older. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did like it, I really want to invite you to our community, the Get Better Not Older community that I, Dr. Rob, and my awesome wife Shannon, who's a dietitian, host. We have a link down below. Please check that out. And if you really like this content, please like and subscribe. We're going to always be putting good content out there. And if you have any questions, please leave them down below. I'll do my best to answer them to the best of my ability, because I want you, like me, to get better, not older.